I'm about to say something that could piss off the Democrats, white progressives, a lot of people. Okay, but here it is. Think about who has successfully won liberation and freedom in America. It is Black people. Think about globally who has defeated imperialism to liberate entire nations. It is Pan Africanists. It is people fighting colonial rule. I'm thinking of figures like Patrice Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah. I'm thinking about all of the Black leaders we know coming out of the American South. Why is it that as we're in this movement where supposedly we are fighting for liberation from our capitalist overlords, we don't say, hey, what's worked before? Why don't we ask Black people how they won? Why don't we study Black movement leaders and see what they did and actually do the stuff that we know has worked? I think it's casual white supremacy among white people in the Democratic Party who are in positions of power. I think it is, um, you know, if it's not white supremacy, it's casual racism. And we really need to talk about it because it seems like the obvious thing that there are tactics that have worked that we are ignoring. I think it's simply because while white progressives are like, oh, I can't be racist because I support equal rights. Um, but then in conversation, they won't, fully listen to a Black comrade's points. They won't fully take it seriously, and they'll make weird comments about, oh, why is their hair like that? Why do they talk like that? And not think that that's racism because they're like, no, but I support equal protection under the law. I don't want them to be brutalized. But also, you don't fully see them as equal, do you? As a human being on a spiritual level. And I think we need to interrogate this because I think we're leaving so much power on the table by not asking people what has worked in the past, because this oral history has been passed down and it's there for us to learn from.
That's for sure. White's been out here fucking it up for a minute. And hey, I just think of man, the Panthers and their free lunch program, where they were, you know, populations not only completely cut out of society and government, but like built on top of, a society and a government built on top of people that then cut them out of this. So it was out of that need that you had a couple, the list of innovations of a community trying to survive is very, very long. But I think of the Black Panthers providing free hot meals to kids, and that later got factored in to the school free lunch program, which is now happening, but kind of took that out of the realm of something that a community provided and institutionalized it within government. And now, those benefits are being slashed by billionaires who see them as kind of a threat to their control over a population. But that right there, just one program. I mean, you can see in the people who fight against free lunches how important it is and how close it comes to threatening the power of the people who are, slashing the hell out of all of our public benefits. That program came out of the Panthers. I think about their community defense initiatives, right? You want to get Republicans to support gun control. Get a couple of Black Panthers who are armed in the California state legislature. All of a sudden, you see people like Ronald Reagan coming out again in favor of gun control. But really, it was out of necessity, and those communities have a lot to teach us right now as power is concentrated in so few hands. We need to look to the communities who saw that, responded, and survived.
Right. And unlike the Democratic Party, I think like on this show, the Jess and John pod, JJ Nation would like to be liberated, right? That's what we're fighting for. And so we have to learn from these ideas. So I want to do as I say we should do, and learn from Kwame Nkrumah, who led the struggle for freedom in Ghana. This goes to what you were just saying, John, which is why I'm going to start with this. But he said the best way of learning to be an independent sovereign state is to be an independent sovereign state. We talk about ruling class oppression all the time. And John, I think what you do in Wheeling is such a good example of this, but like really create
Oh shucks. Oh no.
ah um
The deep state has taken out Jess's camera, which is why you heard this audio interruption.
big L for me. Okay, so I think you do this. You have a community of people who can help provide for each other. How do we create systems that are independent from the capitalist infrastructure we have and keep money within our community and not going to the ruling class and grow our own food? Like I'm on all of that shit type of beat. I think we need to buy cell phone towers and create our own cell phone service. Like this is some good ideas. I'm holding up Kwame Nkrumah's book for people who don't see this, but there's just some good shit there. Revolutions are brought about by men who think as men of action and as men of thought. So, a problem with the Democratic Party is they'll entertain these radical ideas, some of them, but then they would never dream of doing anything about them. And like there's just so much good stuff that we should learn from. Like, we should not be learning from, I'm sorry, but like people who are white guys who led labor strikes and spend most of their time in the office of a nonprofit as the executive director. Like, I'm sorry, but those people are not going to lead us to freedom and liberation.
Yeah, that's a fair point too. I mean, every one of these institutions that we're going to look to get us out of this mess, most of them are living in that same political world that died. You know, we're in a new world where the Democratic Party and most of its leadership is not equipped to respond to it, and that the same goes for a lot of legacy unions. And I think we've got to learn, and we've got to learn fast. And there are people to learn from, and you're talking about some of them right now. And I do think it's really good to put that into practice, because we can talk on a podcast for a long time and we can wait on these people to come around. But really it needs to happen faster than that. And it's got to be driven by all of us, right? Nobody's going to save us but us. And, you know, I think the general points you're making here is like, put this into practice in your own life, right? If you don't know your neighbors, you got to go meet your neighbors right now. If there is a group of people who are like-minded and close to you, it's time to start having fun with a purpose. When I think of like the really good things that we've done in Wheeling, and I might be the spokesperson for them, but you know, by no means am I the driving force of all this. We have a really good group of people here who's getting mutual aid off the ground, doing a community kitchen, where, you know, and there's a difference between charity and mutual aid. This is for us, right? It's not like, oh, high-minded people with disposable income helping out homeless folks. It's like, no, we have a group chat, and like a lot of us are tired of paying crazy grocery prices, so we're like partnering with different places. We have a public market here. If they've got food that's about to expire and they got to get rid of it, okay, we're going to take that and we're all going to go to we have a friend who's a pastor who opens up their church kitchen, and 15 of us are going to cook a meal, and it's going to be fun together, and we're going to take home 3 meals, and bam, there you go. We just stepped outside of Kroger and their dynamic pricing. And it's time to start doing that and finding ways to do it. But the thing is, the Black community's been doing this forever.
Yeah, yeah. And it's like the kind of sentiment like freedom is not something that one people can bestow on another as a gift. They claim it as their own and no one can keep it from them. That's very different from the message of the Democratic Party leaders of vote. This is the one thing you have to voice your public voice in your democracy. No, you can take it into your own hands. And that's what they don't want you to know. And that's the part of liberalism that lends itself to imperialism and capitalist structures. And I've heard a lot of people say fascism is just imperialism and colonialism when it reaches white people. Um, but if you're a person of color, especially in an imperial nation, you experience that. And if you're not an imperial nation, you experience it through weird soft power, through existing colonial ties, etc.